Formula One is back. We had already two races this season, the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Jeddah. This weekend it's the third one, the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. But how do the racetracks look like when there is no race taking place? I was able to walk around the Jeddah Corniche Circuit and the racetrack in Albert Park in Melbourne. Hello, welcome to BP Geographic. This time we have a look at the other side of racetracks, Formula One circuits, because I was able to walk around the Jeddah Corniche Circuit and Albert Park in Melbourne. These two are street circuits, so they look a little bit different when there is no race taking place. In case of Albert Park in Melbourne, there were not even grandstands, and part of it is a public road. And Jeddah Corniche Circuit is a little bit different. That is usually not a public road, and there was even light on. So here I am at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, where the Formula One race of Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, takes place. That is here the start and finish straight, and we have the pit lane building here and grandstands. So yeah, and it's I can show the surroundings. Yeah, it's still a construction site. This is these trucks coming by. These recordings are from 2022. Still here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, where the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix takes place, and I'll have a look whether I can find a way. I was trying to find a way to enter the track. I thought it would be possible to walk on it because the track is going to be relocated later to another track that's being built. But the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is relocated to a new racetrack near Riyadh. It will be possible to walk on the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. It seems it's not really a street circuit because it's not really... Right now it is not really a street circuit because it is not really a public street. I'll find a place somewhere where I can enter a bit of the track at least. This here is of course something else, doesn't really belong to the track itself, but I just walk near the track and have a look whether I can enter it somewhere. But it's actually nice to walk. It's not so hot, it's not summer anymore, it's October right now, and it's about like 33, maybe just 30 degrees right now, so it's actually okay compared to summer. It's actually always hot in Arabic countries. I stayed in Morocco in summer, in July they were up to 47 degrees, and here I don't know, maybe even up to 50 yeah, in summer, but now it's not in summer anymore, and so it's nice with these like 30 degrees or so. It doesn't feel very hot. The sun is already setting. These are actually the conditions of the first free practice on Friday, and the third free practice that happens on Saturday. Oh, and there is the board with some advertisement for Formula One, and so more about that later. So here I am at turn 6 of the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, where the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix takes place once a year, for the last 2 years at least. Yeah, so this is one of the first turns. There is actually this long one is turn 5. Behind that, turn 4 there in the background. So 4, 5, and then here we have turn 6. At some points I can get relatively close, like here. You can actually still see all the advertisement here. Typical for Formula One. Yeah, and sunset, so it's like the conditions of the first free practice of Friday or the third free practice of Saturday, and like around 33 degrees right now. It's okay. It is, of course, it's quite obvious, I think, that it's a relatively narrow track. There are walls everywhere, so it's a bit dangerous, and it's also one of the fastest tracks, so both narrow and fast. It's but the security standards are met, so of course, as basically always nowadays in Formula One, so that should be fine. So just now I was allowed to walk a little bit here on the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, at some spot after turn 6, I guess turn 7 or 8, and also take a photo. There was one guy who was really kind, who asked me even to show him the other photos because he was interested and said they are good. Yeah, he allowed me to walk onto the track. Then a car came with 2 other guys who said this is under construction, so it's maybe something like top secret, I don't know. But anyway, I mean, you can't see much of what they are changing. I mean, for that you would need a helicopter or something, so I think it doesn't reveal too much anyway. Yeah, but now I'm outside again as usual, since yeah, this whole track is not something to walk on as other tracks where I've been. Yeah, but maybe in a few years it's possible to walk on it, but they're still changing something about it. It seems, yeah, there are still races going to happen here, unlike plans to move it already to another location in Saudi Arabia where they're also constructing a track, but it's still here. Seems the next time or the next few times as well, so they are changing a bit of the track. That is why this is all under construction. It's actually kind of interesting. Sometimes there are complaints of the drivers, so there are something that Formula One management found out, that how to make the track better or safer if there were issues in past races, so that could be the reason. A few facts about the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. It is 6.174 kilometers long and is therefore the third longest track on the Formula One calendar. Only Spa-Francorchamps and the Las Vegas Strip Circuit are longer. The first race took place on 5th December 2021, and the circuit was designed by Carsten Thielke, the son of the famous Hermann Thielke, the famous Formula One circuit designer. So here in Jeddah you actually have the opportunity to meet him in a way. This is the Corniche area right next to the Corniche Circuit. The word Corniche usually describes an area near the coast in Arabic countries. So this is the start and finish straight of the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, where the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix takes place once a year, for the last 2 years at least. Then here to that side, the pit lane building and the pit lane. So right now it's October 2022. Here in the background actually some impressions of one of the last two races. This is actually the fastest Formula One race of the calendar, and maybe also it's one of the narrowest. Some drivers had maybe fears about safety, but because the safety standards are all met. So yeah, but it is something special to race between these walls. It's not just, of course, here start and finish straight, but also the whole track there, the walls relatively close, as can be seen on my other photos and videos. So this is how it looks like when there is no race taking place here. Everything empty. So you can see Jeddah Corniche Circuit is quite special, as you can walk there along the Corniche area right at the Red Sea. And yeah, the light is on even when there is no race taking place. So it is a nice place to walk, and yeah, it has this night race character that makes it quite special. Albert Park Circuit on the other side is different because it is located in a park, as the name says, around a lake, and most of it is a public road. That's the difference to the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, that can only be entered if you have a bicycle, and only on Thursdays, I think. Otherwise it is closed. But on Albert Park Circuit you can drive around if you have a car. Part of the track, like half of the track, there is normal traffic, and on the other part you can also enter it by car, or you can walk around, as I did. So yeah, it is totally accessible. That is the difference. Welcome to Albert Park. These photos are from 2013. Half of the roads in the park are used as normal public roads, while the other half are used to access certain facilities in the park, like sports stadiums. This is turn 8 of the Albert Park circuit. This weekend the birds had to find out that they can't really stop a Formula One car. The lake has once been a lagoon but was turned into a lake. This is the spot where George Russell almost lost the rear of his Mercedes but was able to catch it. A few facts about Albert Park Circuit. There were already attempts to do motor racing in Albert Park in the 1930s, but there were protests, so that was abandoned. But then in the 1950s they managed to do racing there. So in 1953 actually the first race took place at Albert Park Circuit, but it only lasted a few years because 1958 the racetrack of Albert Park was closed again and remained closed for several decades until 1996 the relatively current track was opened, because actually in 2020 they did a few changes, so the current layout exists since 2020. Now we're getting to the spot where Kimi Räikkönen once said the famous phrase to his race engineer, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." And we are entering the pit lane. This pit lane actually became a little bit wider when the track was modified. Get ready for braking. From this line onwards you have to activate the pit limiter. If you're too fast you would need to pay a penalty. These garages will be used once a year until 2035, as the contract for the Australian Grand Prix was extended until that year. This is the spot where the winner of the Grand Prix would park his car and then being interviewed. These pit stop markings are nowadays turned by a few degrees so that it is easier for the Formula One drivers to position their car during the pit stop. Now we are coming to an end of our track walk. We are reaching the spot where we have entered Albert Park. And if you don't have a VIP shuttle, then you can take a tram from here. So much about these two Formula One circuits to have an insight of how it looks like when no race is taking place there. In fact, whenever I travel to a location where a Formula One race takes place, then I walk around the circuit. That is for me, maybe the nicest place to walk. I have also walked around a few other circuits, but more about that in other videos. Yeah, and you can have a look at the other videos in the channel. This was a video of BP Geographic Mobility, but there are a few other categories also about traveling and news, politics, and so on. So yeah, have a look. Maybe you find something else interesting. And then, you may follow this channel. Have a nice day, and till next time here at BP Geographic.